Talonflame wins CMP, taking out the loaded Walrus. It's all going to be down to the GOAT Shadow Swampert. The opponent attempts to catch a Hydro Cannon, but guess what, motherfucker? Eat Earthquake, get wrecked, Cresselia, and one more Hydro Cannon. Once again, the GOAT does motherfucking GOAT things. GG's and thanks for playing. So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at a timeless team. This has been around since Toshi run it all the way in pre-season. Triple Water, we're now in Season 11. Numerous Pokemon have come and go, but Triple Water is still broken. Obviously, there is a Numon in the team. Back in the day, we didn't have a Walrus. People using Empoleon or Poliwrath, but either way, Triple Water is phenomenal. It's completely non-XL, and you can guarantee yourself wins. So let's get into the battles. And in game one, we pick up a pretty dreadful lead for the entirety of our team, other than the GOAT. Defense Deoxys has access to both Rock Slide and Thunderbolt, and neither of our back two Pokemon want to see this. The opponent builds to 8, throw a Psycho Boost, a bulky Shadow Swampert, tanks it on the chin. I'm absolutely joking, that hurt like fuck. We fire back with a Hydro Cannon. This is going to be another Psycho Boost, and I regrettably am going to shield. Despite it being debuffed, we are going to get off one more Hydro Cannon. If the opponent no shields, we are going to switch out into Gyarados. The opponent actually comes in to Mandibuzz, so I take this opportunity to load up on a boatload of energy, and here comes the Walrus. All of our Ice-type damage hits this bulky flying Umbreon for super effective. However, I might joke about Umbreon having 6 million HP in the Great League. Wow, this flying Umbreon in Ultra League has about 10 million. You can see this super effective. Shadow Icicle Sphere doesn't do a whole lot. You hate to see it, but we are super spammy. We outpace this stupid flying bird. Icicle Sphere number 2 gets them quite low. The opponent is firing off one more charge move, and I believe we will survive. Let's find out. We do survive. The opponent snipes with Deoxys, and this is pretty great for us. I am going to wait out my timer. I've got no idea why. As our timer is already up, we are going to fire off a Hydro Cannon as we are absolutely loaded. The opponent shields it up, and here comes Gary. They are switch locked. We farm down what is in the back. In the back, they have the Pancake. Galarian Stunfisk, so that bank energy on Swampert might come in clutch. Aqua Tail does hit for super effective. Dragon Breath is resisted, but these are really starting to add up. Gyarados does survive a non-stab Rock Slide. There is absolutely no chance of us getting Mudshot down. This should draw the opponent's final shield, and Shadow Swampert should be prime to sweep this battle. The opponent throws at great timing just before we get to the next Aqua Tail. I am going to allow this to go down and allow Shadow Swampert to do Shadow Swampert things. We are going to shield up the Rock Slide. We've already got the Hydro Cannon. I know the sacrificial swap is coming. The opponent tries to sack Deoxys. They get Mudshot down, and it's time for a BM Earthquake. Hi Stunfisk, bye Stunfisk, GG's, thanks for playing, and we're off to a 1-0 start. So in that battle, you can see being disciplined allow the opponent not to catch, and we win that battle. Moving on into the next one, we see Dragon Breath, Giratina in the lead. We say switch to Gyarados, and here comes Regirock. This is absolutely dreadful because Regirock has access to Stone Edge. They get there super quick, and Gyarados is absolutely going to get wrecked. So we aren't going to shield this up. We're going to allow Gary to go down and come in with Swampert, and hopefully look to outpace to the Hydro Cannon. The opponent has overfarmed. We're going to hopefully outpace. We do get there before the Focus Blast comes. This is going to be taking care of the Regirock, and now we're back in this opening matchup. We are still switch locked as that mid game was so quick. We are going to allow one move to go through, and then we're going to make a dip into the Walrus. We're spamming out Walrus, and in the back is Swampert. We are in the 2-shield. Walrein has a pretty good matchup here. You just need to correctly shield up the Earthquake. However, you have to have big cojones and sometimes call some baits. The opponent builds to 8. I fucking dare you to Earthquake me. We're going to no shield, and I fucking did not think so. We tanked that, and now we are sitting in a pretty sweet spot. The opponent allows a second Icicle Sphere to go down. They once again build up to the Earthquake, but as we are getting quite low on HP, I imagine this will just be a Hydro Cannon, so we are going to tank this next one. It will get us pretty low, but the opponent is going to be in a tricky spot. They're going to be forced to shield the Icicle Sphere, or Giratina will be taking super effective Ice-type damage. We've overfarmed beautifully. The opponent lets the Icicle Sphere go through on Swampert. Back out comes Giratina. The overfarm meant we get to one more Icicle Sphere, and Shadow Swampert with loaded energy is going to Earthquake the absolute shit out of Giratina, and it lands for huge damage. The opponent realises it's over, and that's all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. We lead Shadow Swampert into Obstagoon. Pretty neutral matchup. However, we are going to look to Safe Switch at some stage in case they have a Steel type in the back that our back two Pokemon really don't want to see. This is pretty much an ABB team. If they've got something like Melmel in the back, our back two Pokemon are pretty fucked. So we overfarm. We are going to go for a Hydro Cannon. The opponent allows it to go down and we're at the back-to-back. We are looking to grab a shield off the opponent and then I will dip into Gary, looking to catch the Night Slash. You can see that was a CMP, so I am forced to return the shield and now I am going to look to catch the next Night Slash. Are we successful? Of fucking course we are. This Night Slash does hit for pretty big damage because Gyarados is made of absolute paper. The opponent is staying there. I'm looking to Dragon Breath all the way down. We are unsuccessful. We are going to tank Night Slash number 2 and we are going to be left pretty low. However, we do get the farm down. The opponent is having a think. They must be quite weak to Gyarados. The opponent finally comes into Swampert, and this makes absolute sense why they stayed in with Obstagoon. Aqua Tail lands for decent damage. The opponent is going to have a real rough time of farming us down. The opponent throws the Hydro Cannon immediately because they are getting shredded by Dragon Breath, and this is where energy management is going to be key. They're 4 away from the next Hydro Cannon. I wait out my timer. I throw 3 Mud Shots and the Hydro Cannon, maximising our energy generation. I probably would lose CMP as my attack is super low. I bank the Hydro Cannon. It is Cresselia in the back. This game should be over. All I need to do is get the final shield off the Cresselia and Swampert will absolutely win CMP. The opponent throws a Future Sight. This is pretty good for us. It did land for big damage, but it means they are not on grass. Not Icicle Spheres are going to start adding up. I'm going to be spamming out as many as physically possible. The opponent is super bulky, but Walrus is pretty oppressive. You can see that we are getting the Cresselia into the yellow. I am going to shield this up and look to get to 2 more Icicle Spheres. I'm already at the first. This Icicle Sphere will not get a shield from the opponent, but the next most definitely will. The opponent actually did shield us up, and this game is over. I'm not going to switch out in case I mistime it and Swampert gets taken out. I'm just going to allow it to go down, and then it is going to be time for Shadow Swampert to sweep. They've got hardly any HP, even though they managed to farm us down. Swampert has the move locked and loaded, and that once again is going to be all she wrote. GG's to the opponent. Moving straight on into the next battle, we lead Shadow Swampert, the mighty GOAT, into Sylveon. You hate to see it. Charm is pretty terrible for a triple Shadow team. We are going to throw a Hydro Cannon. They do get a Charm through. You hate to see it. Swampert gets a shield. We are going to look to build up to 1 more Hydro Cannon. This should land, and I am going to make a dip into the Walrus. Hydro Cannon gets Sylveon into the yellow. They are building up all the way to the Moonblast. I am going to shield it up, respecting it, and this absolute savage baits me with a Psyshock. They now come in to Shadow Machamp. I throw just before they get to the cross chop. This Icicle Sphere will land for decent damage, and the opponent, to my surprise, chooses to shield it up. What a really strange shield from the opponent, probably fearful of the Earthquake. They are now only at 1 counter. Gyarados has a dreadful matchup against the Charmer, so I am going to come in, look to Dragon Breath all the way down. The opponent is now at the Rock Slide. I am going to show respect for it. The opponent will not make another Rock Slide. They can hit us with a Cross Chop. The opponent looks to commit to the Rock Slide, and Gyarados absolutely farms it down. Back out comes the Charmer. I throw 1 Dragon Breath and the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail takes care of Sylveon, and once again in the back they have a Gyarados of their own. This is going to be somewhat tricky. I fire the Crunch. We don't get a debuff. I'm looking at my own energy. I attempt to catch a Crunch on Swampert. We're unsuccessful. The opponent attempts to Dragon Breath us down, and Swampert says absolutely not. Hydro Cannon is going to be enough to take this game. We get some lag. The opponent probably force closed the app, but we take that victory regardless. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we see another Charmer. Holy crap, you hate to see it. But as you saw in the last battle, we're going to do pretty much the same. I'm going to fire off a Hydro Cannon. The opponent will probably shield because people love shielding their Charmer. We're going to fire off Hydro Cannon number 2 and then make a dip into the Walrus. This Hydro Cannon will land for decent damage against the super bulky Clefable. In comes Walrus. The opponent hasn't thrown a move yet, so we are going to take this opportunity to take it out. The opponent is highly unlikely to double shield. We manage to take him out, and here comes Obstagoon. Not particularly something the Walrus wants to see, but this ice type coverage is really spammy and does hit for decent damage. The opponent is going to need to cross chop to take us out. I am not going to shield this. If this is a Night Slash, we will survive and get the Icicle Sphere off. However, the opponent smartly throws a cross chop and the Walrus goes down with the move. Once again, I am going to come in with the Gary. I am really fearful. This could be a double charm team. You'd absolutely hate to see it. I tanked the first Night Slash. I am going to look to shield this second one up, as it is a double charm. I really do need to save as much HP as possible. We commit to the Dragon Breath, farm down what is hiding in the back, and luckily for us, well, not luckily, it isn't a charmer and this game should be over. Aqua Tail draws a shield from the Shadow Swampert. We are going to fire off Aqua Tail number 2. This is going to start getting the Swampert fairly low, and it is going to be a race. The opponent needs 9 mud shots to make the back-to-back. They're 2 away. We can just shield this up, and we're going to outpace to the next move, because we are going to get there with 2 Dragon Breaths. That mud shot you saw going through would be the Hydro Cannon. However, they don't make it, and Gyarados clutches up the 5-0. And once again, it looks like the opponent has force closed the app. You love to see it. So you can see we did go a perfect 5-0 in the set. Triple Water is still broken as fuck. We've got a couple of bonus battles. Moving on into bonus battle number 1, we see the bulky regular Umbreon, not the flying Umbreon, just standard Umbreon, which also has 10 million HP. The opponent is on Dark Pulse, and that hits pretty hard, but it does mean that they are 4 snarls apiece for their charge moves. Hydro Cannon does land, but you can see that Umbreon's bulk is really paying dividend. They switch out into Cresselia, and we come in to Gyarados. If they're on Grass Knot, this is going to be a losing matchup, and that is exactly what the opponent is on. I'm going to go straight for the Crunch, fishing for the defense drop. Crunch does hit for super effective, but bulky Cresselia doesn't need to shield. However, they do choose to shield it up. I am going to choose to burn 1 shield here, because we are going to outpace to the next Crunch. Next Crunch still won't KO, but hopefully it will put it into farm down range for the Walrus. The second Crunch is going to land. Actually, it is not. The opponent is really determined to win switch. They actually choose to switch out now into the Umbreon, and this is absolutely fine for me. We're going to allow Gyarados to go down, and we're going to save a shield for Shadow Swampert. The opponent is energy dry, so I am going to come in with the Walrus. I'm going to look to overfarm as much as possible. Walrus, even as a Shadow, is pretty bulky, and that is probably why it is so high up in the meta. I am tempted to throw the Icicle Sphere. However, I have made that mistake in the past, that Umbreon does survive. So we go for the hard-hitting Earthquake to guarantee the knockout. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent, once again, is waiting out their timer. They come in to Talonflame. I'm looking to get off this Icicle Sphere just before they get to their Flame Charge. Icicle Sphere is neutral and does around 40% of the HP. I am looking to get the second one off. The opponent smartly throws. However, this is going to dump all the energy from the Talonflame. Swampert is absolutely loaded. The opponent attempts to catch a Hydro Cannon onto the Cresselia, but guess what? Eat Earthquake, motherfucker. Get wrecked, Cresselia. Feed me that Talonflame. 1 more Mud Shot. We're already at the Hydro Cannon, and you already know this is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Once again, the GOAT Shadow Swampert doing GOAT things. Moving on into the final battle of the video, we see another Giratina in the lead. You absolutely hate to see it. We say switch into Gyarados, and the opponent is staying in. They build to 6. This could be an Ancient Power. I show no respect. We get hit for the Ancient Power, and that does quite a lot of damage. The opponent has a Venusaur, so I left this battle in, because you might be thinking, what do you do against the grass type? Well, to be honest, it's pretty fucking rough. The opponent does shield up the first Crunch. They are going for a very ambitious Vine Whip farm down. Grass is only neutral to Gyarados due to our sub flying typing. The opponent is super low. If I come in with Walrus and sneak a Powder Snow, they would only get off 1 move, but of course we get denied. The opponent is going to fire off. Once again, that is a double deny. Shout out to the home slice homies, because we were watching Jazz battle, and the double denials the other day were absolutely savage. The opponent now switches out into Caesar, and we've got a great response with Shadow Swampert. The bullet punches are resisted due to our water typing. I'm now going to overfarm, looking to get off the Hydro Cannon. However, I get a bit greedy. We lose CMP. Night Slash is going to land, and we are now into the red. This Hydro Cannon will be taking out Caesar or drawing the final shield. The opponent chooses to shield it up, so this time I am going to throw before Caesar gets to the move. Hydro Cannon is going to be taking care of Caesar, and there's absolutely no HP on our Swampert to be farmed down. We come into the Walrus, and it is Giratina in the back. So once again, energy management is going to be key. We're going to fire off 1 Icicle Sphere. That lands. At this stage now, all we've got to do is farm down and leave with the Icicle Sphere. The opponent goes for the Ancient Power. They get no boost. Walrus has the move, and it's going to be a 1 HP. Boom. GG's and thanks for playing. So those were the battles with Triple Water. I must say the team is super cheap to build. They're all non-XL, the Pokemon all around level 30 odd. So if you are low on resources, I'd highly recommend this team. You can obviously run it not as a Triple Shadow team. Obviously Gyarados and Swampert are only 10k or 12k for the second charge move. A really budget friendly team that is one of the teams that I do recommend. You're always going to pick up wins because it's got such great coverage on the meta. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you'd like your Triple Shadow battles featured on the channel, link to the battle submission form is down below. And I'd like to say thanks for watching and I will see you all in the next one.